Steve Prescott's hands up! For Steve Prescott's hands up! For Steve Prescott's hands up!
Welcome to Serious About Rugby League. First up on our agenda, do we play too many games? Rob Elston said, I think the game knows the season is too long and we're asking too much of the players. What do you think, Ben?
Well, personally, I do think the season is too long. The Easter schedule that we've got now, I like, because I liken it to the Christmas period in football. It's like the most exciting part of the season for me. It's one for the fans, I think, more than the players, because obviously the players are quite vocal on playing such a high number of games in a short space of time. But in terms of the actual season, we do play too many games. Where these loop fixtures this season are just bizarre, really. We've got... I was looking at Leeds Rhinos fixtures the other day, and Leeds actually play Castleford at home twice before they play them away. They play Salford away twice before they play them at home. I think if you're going to have loop fixtures, then you just do them at the end. You do a normal season, then add those loop fixtures on at the end. But in terms of the season, we play far too many games, in my opinion. I would just like to see us play every team twice and straight into the playoffs. And obviously, Robert Elson's come out and said that the reason for the loop fixtures are because financially we can't cope without them. We need to play around 30 league matches a season to cope financially. But I mean, it almost is a less is more scenario for me. I think if Wigan are playing St Helens twice a season, then obviously the Good Friday game sells out, but then for the game later on in the season at Langtree Park, it's going to be a sellout because they know, well, we're not playing Wigan at home again this season. Everyone will flock to the game. And I just think it just adds more excitement when the two teams do meet, because if St Helens are playing Wigan 3, 4, 5 times a season, it takes away from it for me. And yeah, I think we should... I mean, I don't control the money or the finances within the game, but I think we should limit the fixtures, play everyone twice, and just go to the playoffs, because it's easier on the players.
You made it an interesting evaluation comparison to football. I think what you could say about the comparison between Wigan playing Saints and having that important fixture, and just having it twice a year is so important. Like you can compare it to the Scottish football where you have Celtic and Rangers, and obviously in Scottish football you have a similar sort of loop period where you play everybody again, and it sort of takes the excitement out of watching Celtic and Rangers. And obviously because they're both so highly competitive, you end up seeing them play in each other in the cups, and that doesn't happen in Rugby League as much. So and same in football. So watching Manchester United versus Man City is exciting because it's likely to be only twice a year. The same in Rugby League. If you were going to watch Wigan and Saints only twice, you'd want to watch it because it's exciting. It's only twice a year. When it's 4, 5, sometimes 6 times a year, because if you play them in the cup, you play them in the final, you play them in the playoffs, you play them on the loop fixture, it gets a bit ridiculous. And it's the same with the Rangers Celtic thing. You wouldn't want to continue. The solution, I don't know, because like you said, there's a money loss issue, and what else could you possibly lose? You don't want to lose the Challenge Cup, as this year the Challenge Cup is being obviously a fantastic competition. There's so many upsets happening. The draw for the next round, it looks incredible. So you don't want to lose that idea of the magic of the cup, which is something unique to this country. The same with the FA Cup. But where else do you lose it? You don't want to lose the playoffs for me, because I think the playoffs is the only thing that makes Rugby League exciting. I know it's not traditional for this country, with football being the traditional finish first, win the league sort of event, but every other country in the world has a playoff system. Realistically, all other major sports realistically have a playoff system, except for maybe cricket and football, which are obviously English sports. So the only other option is to lose the loop fixtures, and it does come down to a money thing, and whether Super League are willing to take a risk on people selling out games because they're only going to play twice a year, and not because there's a chance we're going to get them again and again and again.
Yeah.
So you've both mentioned that as a fan sort of perspective. How do you think playing so many games impacts the players as well from that perspective?
I think, for me personally, there's two things when it comes to the players. I would address that they are professional athletes, and that shouldn't be an issue for them. Obviously, rugby league's a lot more physical than football, where you have the Christmas period. So doing 160 minutes in rugby, over 4 days, is going to be a lot more telling on your body than doing 180 minutes in football in over 4 days. But I think there's an important part of rugby league is the culture of rugby league, and without going too political, an important part of this country is the British culture and being able to identify as such. And I know it's a troubling time for that sort of identity, but these periods, this Christmas period and this Easter period that we have in this country, are two of the most important parts of the country, and losing that essence of, oh, this is British rugby league over Easter would be a massive loss for me. I think you'd start to sort of conform to what is the normal for the rest of the world, and I think that is what gives you an identity to make rugby league special, especially in this country.
Well, I think, I agree with that, and in terms of the Easter schedule, I don't think there's an issue with it. Obviously, the players come out occasionally and make a kind of a complaint about it. They complain it's too harsh on the body, but I mean,
Stevie Ward complained about that, didn't he, last year?
Yeah, well, there's been loads of players over the years that have complained about it, and I mean, this year, obviously they're playing Thursday, Friday, and then Easter Monday, but then the following week, which is where you've sometimes in other years seen blowout scores, they're actually playing on the Saturday and the Sunday. So it's actual, apart from the Thursday, Friday to Monday, which is obviously 2 or 3 day gap, after that, they just go back into the normal routine. Like, they're playing Saturday, Sunday the following week, so they're getting 6 days rest. So there's not an issue in terms of that. And like, I agree with Sean, like, the Easter period is for the fans, and I think the players probably secretly enjoy it, most of them, the majority of them anyway. I just think it's over the course of the season, like we said. You just play far too many games. Like, this season started in January, and for England players, you're going on a tour down under.
You finished in October last year, so it's
yeah.
not really finished early, is it?
Yeah, well, exactly, yeah, and they're going to be playing from January till pretty much the start of December. That's a full year, and that's far too much. And there's not enough of a pre-season anyway, and the NRL is such a build-up. Obviously, they don't even play every team twice. There's such a build-up. The pre-season is so important. That's probably why their players are so much fitter and faster. Obviously, there's lots of other reasons as well, but that's another one. And I think in this country we're probably, our game obviously doesn't have the financial blessings they have in Australia. So we've got to sacrifice some things, and unfortunately this is one of them. I think Robert Ellison's even said before the start of the season that he agrees we're playing too many games. Majority of the clubs agree they're playing too many games, but it's like they literally can't do anything about it.
Well, some interesting thoughts. How about we get these two on the pitch for all those games and see if they can tackle it. If you've got any thoughts, leave a comment and tell us what you think.
Watch every game of the NRL, plus the grand final and State of Origin, from anywhere outside Australia, New Zealand or the Pacific Islands. Go to watchnrl.com and take the footy with you.